All right, it is 6:01. We'll bring this meeting to order. Golf Commission, June 16th. And missing is Joe Pulcini, Nancy Berger, Gail Lemure. She'll be coming, Gail will be attending later on. I will notify when she does pop on. All right, there's the audience of citizens. If anyone wishes to speak, I don't see anyone here, so we'll close the audience of citizens. I do have an addition that I'd like to make to the agenda. As I make a motion that we add the donation request. It is Community Speaks Out. I'd like to add that to the agenda. So I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved. All right, approval of minutes. Everybody get the chance to look at the minutes?
Yep.
Right. Gail has submitted a couple corrections, so I'm going to do those for the record. There is a section that where it was written that acting director of golf Salvio says he encourages the commission members to take pictures of the grounds, practice areas, and facilities. Blah blah blah. Should read Chairman Peter Fazio, and that is on that is on the 4th page, 5th paragraph. Okay. That is one change. The other change is on page 6. And Chairman Finding has found the bench and flag is also going up. The restaurant pad, the CIP, where the grills are located. The restaurant pad did come out of the CIP money, so that is accurate. So I guess you just had a question on that. If there's any other ones, when she comes back, she can, we'll reopen that. But other than that, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion to approve, yeah.
I second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. So, all right.
Aye.
That.
I think we lost Mark.
He'll come back.
Okay.
All right, old business. The advertising line item that Gail mentioned is not on the P&L as of yet because it hasn't been paid yet. Once it gets paid, it gets put on that P&L. And that is being paid, I believe, this week. So moving forward, you will see that line item expense. I hope that answers all the questions for that. Any discussion on that topic?
No.
Good. Hearing none, we'll move on. When Mark comes back, he can update us on youth on course. The ordinance committee meeting update. I did not approach Hiroshi because I thought he was going to be here. This meeting, but I don't see him here, so if he does not attend tonight, then I will approach him tomorrow or next week and tell him that we want an ordinance meeting, that we would like to attend one.
Yeah, I'd like him to be personally here to open up discussions
Exactly,
for
yes.
other reasons as well.
Right. It's 6:05, Joe Pulcini, thank you for coming. So Joe Pulcini is now in the meeting.
Sorry I'm late, gentlemen and ladies.
The MOU, I don't know if that's in Jerry's report. By the way, Jerry Salvio is not present tonight, for the record. His director's report, I don't believe. I read it, but I forgot. Because I'm old. MOU. Okay, he did not report on, he did not say anything about the MOU, so we'll carry that forward to next meeting for the volunteers, okay? The next discussion that we, as I said the last meeting, you all submitted your opinions and questions and everything else, and, so we broke it up. Last month was the ordinance discussion, and this month is the Brightview discussion. We're missing Gail and Nancy. But if you guys wanna discuss Brightview, now is the time to do it. So one at a time. Jimmy, go ahead. Jim Green?
No, you go.
Oh, okay, Jim Bujow.
The Brightview discussion and the PGA, are they kind of on the same lines where we should be discussing them, the pros and cons of, I don't know anything about the PGA yet, other than what I've
Well,
heard.
that's under new business, yes.
But I don't see discussing Brightview until we know what the PGA.
Well, we could defer that till later if you'd like.
Why don't we do that? That makes more sense.
Okay, thanks.
Fine. All right, any other old business?
Mark's back on.
Hi, Mark. Hey, Mark. Do we have an update on the Youth on Course? Oh, I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, he knows. How would he
I
get
know.
yours? Oh. No. No, okay, he's off. So we'll continue. When he comes back on, we'll jump around.
Okay.
It's kind of free form anyway. All right, donation requests. Did you all see the donation requests?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
now I did add one. This is Community Speaks Out Gala. It is an enhanced evening under the stars. They're excited to share the news that their fundraising gala and enchanted evening under the stars will be taking place at the Mashantucket Pequot Museum on July 30th, 2022. Community Speaks Out is a local, fully volunteer nonprofit organization whose mission is to improve the community by providing education, prevention, and resources to individuals and their families affected by drug and alcohol addiction. So that's the gist of this organization. So that's the one I added to the rest of them. There are none that have any ties to Berlin that I can see.
You are unmuted.
3.
Peter, can you hear me now?
Yeah, Mark, hang on, okay? bud?
Yeah.
All right, so we have 3 requests. I'm gonna mute Mark, okay. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to approve these 3 donations: the Jennifer O'Neill Memorial Golf Tournament, the Suzie Foundation Flex Grant Program, and the Community Speaks Out Gala fundraiser donation request.
So I'll second that.
Second. Okay, discussion, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You're in favor of donating to all 3?
I am.
Okay. Opposed?
I
Okay, so Joe Pulcini is in favor of donating to the 3. Seth Senia, Pete Fazio, Mark Barham, Jim Green, and Jim Norton are opposed. So motion defeated. Okay, Mark, are you, I'm gonna unmute you, Mark. And then if you could just talk about the Youth on Course, okay? You there?
You are unmuted.
All right, I'm here. Sorry, I don't know if my internet's not stable. It says for the video. Anyways, Youth on Course. Jerry gave me the okay to go forward with it. We decided on July 1st as the start date. Basically, what happens is anyone that's a part of that program comes in with a membership card, and we're going to have to keep track of who comes in and their membership card and the date, and it gets entered into this website that they have, and that's how we get reimbursed for the fee that we don't really waive the fee, we just basically charge less than our normal junior rate, and they reimburse us the difference. So it comes out to $5 for 9 holes as a greens fee for the juniors that have this card, and then the CSGA or Youth on Course reimburses us at the end of each month the $7 fee. So basically there's no fee waiver, and we decided July 1st we're going to start this. So that's probably when we'll start promoting it as well.
Good.
Fantastic, thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Okay, we have 2 credit requests.
Mhm.
All right, the first one is Ryan Matthews. Oh, I'm sorry, no.
Klein.
John Klein,
Klein.
sorry, John Klein. You all saw the medical, note from the doctor and all that?
Yeah. Hey, Peter, I'm gonna make a point just, for us. I mean, it's good that we see that, but, we really don't need to see everything. You know what I mean? I mean, it's, even though he voluntarily did this because of HIPAA, there's no issues there, but that was my concern, that this is now in the public domain. You know what I mean? That
I do.
Yep.
You're right. HIPAA, you have to protect.
So
It's a good
basically,
point.
I mean, Jerry should get this information and then he should just let us know
that he
that
has.
that he has it or whatever, and then yeah.
Unless the town needs to see this, I agree, so.
Yeah.
I will make a note
I'm
of
just
that.
I don't know how to.
I was gonna bring that up as well, Jim, same
Okay.
thing, so.
Good. All right.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that for the medical reasonings and everything else, that Jerry gets proof and then he just verifies that he did receive it.
I wouldn't want to, and if we could just redact some of that stuff, even from going on the internet right now, through whatever you're posting as far as supporting documentations for tonight's meeting. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I do.
Okay.
Okay. So you all, I'm gonna make a motion to refund Mr. Klein.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
The amount for Mr. Klein would be $289.80. So I make a motion to refund John Klein $289.80.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none? Okay, so moved. All right, the next one is Don Oliver. Did you all read this thing
Yes.
about Don Oliver?
Yep.
Yep.
He just got it, doesn't know anything about golf. He thought that's what he had to do. So he was kind of, in the dark about the whole thing. And I've seen this gentleman hit balls, and he's not ready to go on the course, and he realizes that. He's I don't know. It is. So you guys can discuss it, but that's.
Well, we have 2 options here. It's either refund his money or give him credit for the following year. I personally think you should you give him credit for the following year. If you can't just.
What I get it. What if he doesn't improve and he doesn't and never comes and he just doesn't want to play golf? I mean, he just did this. You know what I mean? He just did it. He never even stepped on the golf course. He's just on the practice tee.
I say give back his money, I mean, it's not the end of the day.
Go ahead. My thoughts on this thing is we don't have any protocol for waiving fees. you know, and there's no rules as far as, you know, what's in and what's out. And you know, I understand where this guy's coming from. He dropped the ball thinking, hey, I need to get a season pass in order to get, you know, in order to play. It's something I want to do. But now, you know what? You know, I'm not as good as I thought, or you know, it's harder than I thought. Right? I mean, that's really what you're dealing with at this point in time. So
He is he is a resident, isn't he?
I
Mr.
believe, yes,
I truthfully,
yes.
it doesn't
Yeah,
really
he
matter.
is.
It doesn't. It's irrelevant.
Yeah,
Whether
I
he's a
think it does
resident,
state he's a resident.
to me, that's irrelevant, though. It doesn't matter. You know, I mean, I just don't know that we have any policies or you know, who determines who's in and who's going to get it and who's not, and
We do.
it can't be
That's what we're
arbitrary.
here for. We do, that's why
Yeah.
we're here.
Well, I know, but there's no protocols. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no.
Well, we would make the recommendation to the town council.
Okay, all right.
So.
You're right, though. There is no protocols, but there is a protocol on a medical allowance.
Yeah,
or-
exactly. And a medical
That's why we
and
read
then
that
there's a fee. You know, there's the administrative fee.
Hey, I got a question for Mark. Did this guy ever approach you? Mark?
You are unmuted.
This guy really was working with Gino, and I think he stated exactly what it was. He just never played before. He thought it's just part of the deal. He had to get a season pass to, you know, and start playing, and he hasn't played around or even tried. He was having a lot of trouble booking tee times because he just doesn't understand it yet. So I can't really give my opinion, I guess, but he just basically is not a golfer yet. He paid for it, and he's not ready for it.
Okay, thank you. The only comment I want to say, Peter, is that, you know, if we give him his money back, we're setting a precedent here for future people saying, hey, you know.
It's not for me.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm okay. I understand where this guy's coming from, so I'm okay in giving his money back. We're not talking a lot of money here.
Jimmy?
Then if that's the case, then we should post something up like that. That if you're gonna play, you're gonna play. If you're not gonna play, you know, either you're gonna get your money or you're not gonna get your money.
Or you make your
You gotta,
protocols,
you see what I'm saying?
or the
You
protocol
gotta
is
post it.
set that
You know-
only a medical exemption.
Yeah,
Right,
most places.
but-
Go ahead, Peter.
No, Sebby, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
All right, Joe. The only comment, you know, if you buy something in the store, you got like 30 days to return it. So maybe we should have something out there that says, you know, once you buy the what do you call it there, you got maybe 7 days or 5 days to you know, return it. After that, all bets are off.
Well, we do have something similar to that with a time period.
Can I interject for 1 second? 619 Galen Muir is now attending the meeting. Okay, go ahead.
You know, the discussion about the protocol, you know, you can almost make the argument that we kind of did establish a protocol, and you are eligible for a refund if there's a medical issue. And unless it's a medical issue, you don't get a refund. I mean, I feel for the guy, because I can assure you I'm probably the worst golfer on this commission, but you know, so I'm sympathetic to his plight. But on the flip side, if we agree to this, there could be other people that approach us with a comparable or a similar request. I actually like the idea of extending a credit for, you know, next year or the following year, you know, put a time period on there and say, you know, when you get better, come back and enjoy Timberland.
I like that idea, Joe. I like that idea. And even if there's an increase, let him, you know, get a season's pass for.
What he paid for.
And if not next year, then, you know, 2 years, whatever. And I'm actually gonna disagree that I don't think we should keep posting things, because then it takes away our prerogative to make a recommendation that there may be extenuating circumstances in certain cases. And then if we, oh, well, it's your sign said that, but you now wanna do this, Cause I think we're all pretty reasonable people that when we sit in a room and put our heads together, we come up with good recommendations, but I like the extension idea a lot.
Go ahead, Sebby.
Yeah, is this amount usable for lessons?
No.
No, maybe could we do that? You know, if he wanted to pursue golf,
Yeah,
could we give the money?
back and he'll pay, and he'll spend lessons. I mean, this is town money versus
money. It's
versus
Okay,
you know,
I got
our- our pros
Two
money.
different ball games.
I got it.
Two different tills.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, anything else on this? I say give him his money back, but that's me. So,
Well, you
Let's-
can make that recommendation.
I'll, we'll make, it looks like we may be making a couple of motions.
Yeah.
I make a motion to refund Don Oliver the $490.
And what about, does that include the administrative fee?
No, I would waive that too. I mean, the guy just bought it. He just bought it.
Okay, that's your motion, okay,
That's my motion.
okay.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sebby. All in favor? Okay. So Sebby, you were in favor?
Yep, I was.
Okay, so Seb, Semi, and Pete Fazio are in favor. Opposed?
Aye.
Joe Pulcini, Jim Norton, Jim Bugella, and Gail Lemire are opposed, so motion.
Jimmy Green.
I'm sorry, no, Jimmy Green,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, Jimmy Green is opposed. So motion defeated, okay?
I'd like,
Needs to be another motion, right?
I'd like, well, I have two thoughts on it,
We're not refunding his money, so gotta do something.
yeah, I would make a motion that we provide him, with, an extension on his season pass for 2 years. I'm okay with, because maybe he won't, hopefully he'll get into it next year, but maybe next year he'll be incentivized to continue, and so I'd give him a 2-year extension.
With the
What-
waiver
what-
of any increase.
What happens if he gets in, Gail? So what happens if he gets injured between now and then? He can't play golf anymore. Do we refund his money?
I think we cross that bridge when we come to it, if we come to it, because we may never come to it.
I mean, Jim, you put that question out there. From where I sit, if we extend it and he gets hurt or there's a medical issue and he requests a medical waiver, I would support it at that point in time.
Me too.
Sounds like a plan.
I would too.
We have a motion on the table.
Is there a
Second,
Like just,
Can I- before, it said, but I mean, Peter, can you withdraw the, one more? How about refunding his money with the administrative fee taken, but that being taken out?
You make a motion for that as well, sure.
Before we vote on the one that extending it, can we make a motion to refund his monies less the administrative fee?
I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Well, I need
Whoa.
a clarification, because don't you have to do the first motion that was introduced in second and vote first, and then based on that, introduce, I'm just
What, your
jumping
motion?
protocol. Yeah, I think we have to, so I made a motion, it's been seconded, we've discussed it,
It wasn't seconded, but you did make a motion, but nobody seconded it.
oh, okay, so
All
my
right.
motion is not seconded.
So, no, if you make,
I made a
Gail's made the
motion,
motion,
are there any seconds?
are there
If
any
not-
seconds on the motion to extend? Not refund his money, but to extend his season pass for 2 years.
I second that motion.
That is the motion on the table. Joe Pulcini seconds that motion.
I think we have to vote, I think we have to vote on that before we make another motion, like we did the first time around, I believe.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Gail,
I mean,
Jim, Bugella, Joe Pulcini are in favor. Opposed? So we have a tie, huh? Nice.
Oh, we do?
No.
I thought you
Jimmy Green, what'd you vote?
Jim, how are you voting? Yes or no? I mean,
I think that,
I said like Gail was saying, but I think, what are you saying, you're gonna wait and see if this guy's gonna come back to play, right?
no, the motion is, it's very simple, Jim. The motion is, do we extend his season
Season
pass for
pass.
2 years, yes or no? Those are your only options right now. Then there may be other motions and you can make one after, but that's the question on the table and we need to be clear about this, cause I think it was actually 3-4. But let's be clear.
Okay, so let's.
So I would suggest we.
So extend it
take
to
the
us
vote.
and see if he decides it.
All in favor? All in favor of this motion?
Right.
Raise your hands if you're in favor, please.
In favor.
Okay, so we have 4, Jim Green, Gail Lemire, Jim Jella, and Joe Pulcini. Opposed? Pete DeFazio, Steph Senia, and Jim Norton are opposed. So that's it. That's it.
All right.
Yes. And so, you know, that passed, so that's it. Nothing else on that subject.
And it still has to go to council, correct?
Okay, okay, everybody see the P and L? Pretty self-explanatory. Gail, the 8,500 for marketing is not on the P and L because it hasn't been paid yet. Once it's paid, it will go on, it will show up on there.
Okay, it wasn't in the budget either, but.
That's how this was explained to me. So it will go, it'll show up. I asked that question.
Thank you, thank you.
Kevin Delaney, did y'all see Kevin Delaney's note on the P and L?
Yeah, where are we on the agenda? Have we done, we're under new business already?
Yep.
We went through old business already?
Yep. Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
We held on to Brightview though.
The MOU, we didn't do Brightview discussion because we're waiting for me
Okay.
to talk about the PGA stuff. The
Okay.
MOU is missing. I don't have any information on the MOU yet because Jerry's not here
Okay,
and it's not in his report, so we'll table that to the next month.
okay.
So, you know, we'll put that on the agenda again.
I again apologize for being late.
No problem.
I would like to make us go back to the credit for Mr. John Klein. Has that been discussed and decided?
Yes, it has.
I would just like to add for the record, I am concerned, and we discussed it once before, that Mr. Klein's medical
It's already
information.
taken care of, we already did that, we don't want, all we're gonna ask Jerry for is a verification that he received it.
Thank you for that
Yeah, we don't,
clarification.
we don't want,
to
we
see
don't want that stuff online.
No, and nor should any of us see that.
That's right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
appreciate
that's,
that.
we took care of that,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Alright, PGA, you wanna hear about that? The PGA, Connecticut Section PGA approached Arosha and they wanted to just come in and talk about their plans, their thoughts, their vision, and where they see themselves in the next several years. And they're currently in Glastonbury now, and they lease space for their offices in Glastonbury. And their lease expires, I believe, at the end of 2023, if I'm not mistaken. And they want to get into the golf course management business. And the way that they see themselves doing this is by buying a golf course. Or possibly working into some sort of lease agreement with a golf course. They will foot the bill for all renovations, build outs. I mean, they need substantial space for their tournament items and things of that nature. So they would handle all that, they would take care of all that. There are a few golf courses that they mentioned. And you know, I'm not gonna mention them publicly because I don't know if it's public that they're for sale or not. But there are several courses that are for sale. And they're looking at those as well as, you know, they would entertain Timberland as one of those options. And it was also brought up that there is Pistol Creek property, which could possibly work into the deal for some sort of training facility there. You know, if this were to become a reality, it would be nice to see them at Timberland and Pistol Creek, and you know, do a training facility there, and you know, renovate Timberland here. Of course, that's all up for discussion, but that is, you know, they would handle everything. They would manage the golf course, soup to nuts, restaurant, pro shop, golf shop, merchandising, maintenance of the golf course, everything. So basically, they would, that's it. They would just take everything over. Okay. So you know, I don't know what the ramifications would be for resident rates or anything like that. However, I'm sure that if it's some sort of lease agreement, that all that would be worked into an agreement before both parties would sign on the dotted line. So, but anyway, that's where they're at. You know, so it was very enlightening, and yeah, they're serious about it, and you know, hey, they've been in the golf course, they've been in the golf business for a long time, so they've consulted with Keeney, and everything else. So yeah, who knows?
Because they did, well, I guess back in the days, they did Keeney and Goodwin, right?
Right. But so that's the scoop on that. Okay.
So what's the process around this?
The process is that they are going to take a look, from what I understand and from what they said, that they would be interested to look at the Pistol Creek property, things of that nature. Now, I don't, you know, whether they write a letter of intention to the town or not, don't know. They did come in and just want to make it known what their intentions are, what their plans are, and you know, they understand that we are in, you know, we've had discussions about third party and things like that, so they just wanted to throw their hat in and let us know that, you know, that could be a possibility. There's no guarantees that they'd even want a lease agreement if they can buy a golf course, you know, and they would own it outright. You know, I will say that the ones that I heard are nowhere near comparable to the beautiful layout of Timberland and the property of Timberland. So, you know, that's it.
So
Questions?
when you
Yep.
say quote mankind, are we talking, they would take over
Everything,
the pros
Everything.
position too?
everything. Soup to nuts. They
Peter?
they want to be a management company. Yes.
Peter, would they be responsible for, like I said, they would take everything over, but they would assume all the expenses of chemicals and all that?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, all right.
It's Brightview Plus, so they'll take over the restaurant, they'll take over the pro shop, they'll take over everything. Correct? That's okay. What was the length?
They would probably write a check to the town. They would write it one check a year as a lease.
Well, exactly. So that's that they talk. And how about improvements to the course? Are they
would handle all, all that.
Yeah, but are they did they offer any specifics, or is it just all general terms?
General terms right now, no specifics, but I will say this, if they're gonna put their stamp on it, I don't think they're going to wanna see felt coming up in the bunkers or anything like that. I mean, they do have money, and they do have investors. Now, let's be clear, the PGA, Connecticut PGA is a non-profit organization, okay? So this is not for money. It's not, they're not looking to make money on this. What they are looking to do though is fund programs. And they have some outside investors that have the same vision of their programs, like they're very heavy into vets and things like that. So there are outside investors who would want to get in and get their skin in on the game, and to them, it would be charitable write-off, right? And so it's like, it's a write-off to these companies or corporations or whoever wants to, participate in this venture,
Interesting.
okay?
So Peter,
yeah.
would, how would the men's club, the women's club fit into this whole process and the residents for
Have
play?
no clue, no
Right.
clue.
Not
That's
to
all-
mention our high school
that-
teams are.
That's all up,
Yeah.
that would be all up to, before you sign the dotted line on a lease agreement, you would spell all that out,
They
right?
have to come to an
So-
agreement.
So if you don't agree that, you know, if they say, well, you know what, the Berlin High girls, team and boys team have to find somewhere else, I doubt very highly the town would sign a lease agreement like that.
And I doubt very highly the PGA would put that stipulation because
I
they're trying
agree.
Right.
to grow the game.
I agree, you know, so, you know, these are all unknowns, I mean,
Doesn't that agreement fall under the same thing where if the town sold the golf course, we would have to pay back?
yes, but they're not buying it, we're leasing it. We
Leasing
don't- We're not selling it, we own the property, we're leasing it to them, so it's like a sublet, you own a house,
Right, I
you
gotta
don't
know.
live it, you lease it out, right, same thing.
Did they say how many years they would want on a lease if that was an option?
They are looking long term,
Low, I would think.
yeah, they're looking long term, if
What-
they're gonna
what-
invest billions, they want it long term.
What's long term? 10
I
years?
don't know, I mean, I don't know, Jim, I mean, you know, basically, their first intention was to buy a golf course, I mean, you know,
They still
again,
may do
if they
that.
buy it, they own it, now it's forever, right?
But
So,
the town can't sell this course, right?
That's right.
So they're gonna lease it. So if they go 20 or 30 years, and every time their lease probably come up, they'll flip it over again. As long as they're paying the town, it's not costing the town anything. It's costing them. You know, they're gonna bring all the manpower in there, it's gonna be a beautiful golf course if they take over.
Perhaps.
Right, you're right, Gail, perhaps, because the unknowns are still how much money they're gonna invest and what are they gonna do for an infrastructure.
this is very, very, very preliminary, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just bringing,
yes,
you guys in,
Yep.
in on the meeting that I attended. Because I want full transparency for everyone, and, you know, it could be a great thing, could be cake, could be
The
blood,
devil's in the
who knows?
details.
Right, but it could be just the same thing as Brightview. If Brightview comes in, it's looking at the same thing.
So
Right,
this is
view
very
is
much
Actually,
different.
these are very different.
It's a whole different ballgame because PGA will be putting more, Brightview would just put some X amount of dollars in and that's it.
Brightview would maintain the golf course, the PGA would totally renovate them.
Everything.
At least
Exactly.
at least it.
Right.
I have a question, do other state PGA sections have a similar setup?
I don't know,
I'd be curious about
that,
that.
I don't know.
That may be, they may have seen
Will the
Maybe.
NFL know that? Where's Mark at?
Mark, do other sections?
You are unmuted.
So at the national level, that's where this is happening. The PGA of America at the national level is moving to Frisco, Texas, and taking over ownership of a golf course there. And it's also going to be their national headquarters. So I think what the Connecticut PGA is trying to do is like a mini version of that, I guess. Sounds like they want to have their offices at the golf course. They want to host their meetings, possibly events. They do stuff for the veterans, PGA Hope it's called. They basically want to have a location they can host all these instead of going to all these different golf courses. We're centrally located, so I think we're probably on their radar for the Connecticut PGA section. We're like right in the middle. So other than the meeting, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that they're probably the most credible source we're going to find for a management company.
Mark, would you, did I explain everything fair enough?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They did make mention that they had $1.3 million to invest at that meeting up front, that they're looking to make improvements wherever they end up and land. Again, they're nonprofit. I believe he had made mention that a good portion of whatever they make in profit, they're going to put back into the golf course on top of their program funding. So, you know, I don't want to give too much of my opinion here because I am a Connecticut PGA member. I don't even know what would happen to me, to be honest with you, if they took over, and it's all preliminary. But what I do know is it, you know, sounds like a great opportunity for the town of Berlin.
You know, Mark, we don't have a lot of space. I got a little feedback here. A lot of space for offices and stuff. So I'm assuming they're possibly talking about putting up a new venue there, a new clubhouse.
Yes, I can answer that, Seth. They would entertain that.
And parking.
Yeah, they've
is a
made
big
mention
problem.
of.
And don't forget, I mean, you know, Pistol Creek is right around the corner as well for training, for youth programs and things like that. I mean, you know, this could be good. You don't know. You know, hey, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
You know what, we stop, we listen. To what I know so far and what I've heard, sounds like the residents are losing the golf course. You know, if, you know what, our Saturday, Sundays and how easy it is for us to play, that's gonna stop.
No, just my opinion, I don't know if that's gonna stop, because like they said, like what Peter said before, will the town come to an agreement with them about, do you keep keep the town residents the way things are now? I mean, that could be written up in the contract, we don't
Guys,
know.
if they're gonna open it up to all their tournaments,
No, they're not gonna open it to their tournaments.
Yes, they
You
are.
don't know that.
yes, they are. We're listening to them. There's gonna be a lot more tournaments. This will be a centrally located place. Yes, they're gonna do all this work. It could come out very well for the golf course. But the residents will be able to play.
You are unmuted.
Get pushed out.
Hey, just a suggestion. I suggest that you invite Tom Hankey to the next meeting, so you guys can ask him the questions instead of assuming things.
Right.
That's a
very
good point.
idea.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm open to listen.
If you're interested, but I mean, obviously, he would be able to answer any questions that you have instead of making assumptions.
That's a fair statement, Mark.
Are we at liberty to invite him to one of our meetings?
I will find that out.
Because again, to Jim's point, and to Mark, your comment, I think that'd be a great idea.
I will find that out, okay? So that's all we have on that.
It might be another, if the town is truly gonna entertain this, it might be worth having a joint meeting to Tom to come to speak to town council too, and us.
Yeah, again, I mean,
up to
Arosha was in on that meeting, that would be his call.
Yeah, just like if he's gonna allow
And
us to have
if
him
he
here.
doesn't,
Right.
then I'll say, okay, well, if you don't wanna do a joint one, then he
Can
come
we
in
do
front of the commission.
Yeah, see what he
You know.
says,
See what
sure.
it says.
Peter,
Appreciate the situational awareness, Peter.
No worries, yeah.
Peter, because everything that we did when you asked us to put the stuff together.
Yeah.
So you can take it to LaRoche's desk and give it to him, did you give him that stuff on everything that we talked about?
I did not give him that stuff because we were gonna formally do it together.
Alright, because the only reason why I'm bringing this up, because when he was over at the golf course the other day, I took him for a ride and I brought him up to the driving range. And I said,
Who's he?
LaRoche, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I told him, this is really unacceptable because our girls won their division in this good school, then they won the state championship. I mean, and these guys didn't even know that they even won. I mean, so that's just showing you where this town is at. I mean, our kids are doing stuff. If it was a football field or the baseball field, they'll be throwing money over here, okay? Because our driving range is terrible and we're bringing other people coming in, you know? We need to fix that up. It's just really bad.
And they just don't know what's really going on. You walk into the Berlin High gym, and if you look on the walls, the pennants are mostly the golf team.
Right.
And it just doesn't get recognized.
Well, I think that could fit in with Peter's plan and thoughts about bringing more information to town council in a structured manner. And that, you know, we've been sending, hopefully people have been sending Peter pictures as he's requested. And I'm thinking maybe a picture of those banners to add to the presentation might be a nice touch, so. I think one thought that I had when you were speaking, Jim, was we haven't presented anything because we haven't agreed upon a document to present. And it made me think perhaps our statement of need, which we supposedly sent through Jonathan 2 years ago, but we don't know whether it ever got presented anywhere. And we've been mulling that about over the recent months and weeks. If maybe that, although I agree that we need a longer range plan, if maybe that's like too big a bite at this point, and perhaps to your point about the driving range, and maybe there are, you know, 2 or 3 things in the short term that are more feasible to do, that if we could agree upon those, we could present those in a document.
Hey, Peter?
Yeah.
You know, maybe we should do some type of presentation in front of the town council, get it on their agenda, and recognize the girls team for winning the state championship,
It's a good idea.
you know, as a commission.
You know what, and
That's
so, and
excellent.
it's just not the girls or the men's team, I think.
No,
But
I get you on that, Jim.
I know,
I'm
what
just
I'm
saying.
trying to, I know, what
they
I'm trying
want-
to bring out is,
But
I
I'm
don't
not,
think, you're right, I'm not trying to, I think what, in that type of presentation, what we have to bring out also.
and that's another point. I'm just saying,
Yes, it
they won the
is.
state championship. We should do some type of presentation in front of the town council so that they recognize that the girls have won the state championship. All right, and we're presenting something to them as a commission, a certificate or whatever. All right, and then it gets recognized by the town.
And I agree with you 100%, what I was
That's all
trying
I'm
to
saying.
say.
And then
I know,
so
I
what
get it.
you're saying, Jim, is yeah, that's another issue.
No, what I'm saying, in that presentation, what also we should be showing is the demographics that come up to, right from our young junior kids who are coming up here, to our high school kids, to our working class people, to our seniors. Timberland attracts a majority of all demographics in our area. We don't just cater to seniors, we don't just cater to the high school, everybody uses it. And I don't think they realize how big it is because they don't come up here.
Can I mention something? Hey, Jimmy, I think both you and Sebi are totally on the right track there. And I think this is going to kind of dovetail on what Gail was saying is about presenting pictures. And that is taking snapshots at different times during the day and when different functions are going on. Not tournaments per se, but you know, the seniors in the morning. Right. I mean, and I keep referring this as the Summer Senior Center, but the juniors and the little kids that are playing all the time, that youth program is phenomenal. And the kids over there, I mean, they're all over the place. And you know, that's a great site. And I don't think they fully understand how many people are actually using this thing at all different times of the day. And you know what I mean? But that may be an eye opener for a lot of them. And maybe, and the fact that you're going to take pictures of the banners, that's a great idea. You're right, because my kids play sports, and you know what? But you're right. There's more golf banners up there than anything else, and there really are. So I mean, and that's something that we keep, you know, we keep dancing around, but we have to get in front of the town council with some of this stuff and just show them, even if it's in a quick PowerPoint, whatever it's going to be. But how many people are actually using this course? And put the numbers out there, because if you're talking rounds, say we're talking over 40,000 rounds, 40,000 rounds. That's crazy, you know. And I don't think they fully understand 40,000 rounds. That's a lot of rounds. So that's my 2 cents. That's my 2
On
cents.
the
So.
political side, that's a lot of votes.
I keep saying that, and that's why I want the you know, we have to have numbers show up, you know, and you know, people took this the wrong way. I said, the only reason I want seniors to show up because the seniors vote. I mean, let's just call it what it is, right? Unless it's something for dealing with the Board of Ed, the seniors are going to vote. And I think people realize that, and they show up in force.
And the parents will come out too, because the parents see what's going on with the kids up there. You know, it gives them a break. The kids are out having fun. Like the kids were up here today. They're out there playing golf. You know, that's our future.
We agree. I think we all agree with that.
Okay.
Well, we have to put the document together, that's the real, I mean, I think we all agree in concept and theory. Now we gotta put our little
All right, just throw it on his desk and say, let it roll. He's gonna
Well,
say yes or no.
Can we start taking? Why don't we do this? What, you know, maybe take, you know, with your phone photos or whatever, you know, and you know, just forward them all to Peter.
Well, Peter already asked us to do that, how many people have done that?
Well,
I've been taking. I never heard
I'll
anything
go-
about
I'll go-
photos.
I'm going to Tuxas on Monday, I mean, that's a public course. And you know, any course you go to that's
We-
public or muni, we need to do that.
Yeah,
Stanley,
no.
I have
all right, I
been to
misunderstood.
Stanley,
I sent those to you.
Yeah,
I
No,
misunderstood.
That's what we need to do.
But I want to do. I was talking about taking pictures, Gail. I'm sorry. I was talking about taking pictures of
Timberland.
the Timberland and the kid, everybody at Timberland.
That's right, no, I get it, you're right,
That's
that's
the-
right there as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Let's push our course.
And I think, well,
Send them to Peter.
but the whole point is, Jim, is that we show what's going on at Timberland and all this other stuff, and then we show them the facility that we have versus what others have.
Okay,
You know,
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
You're right, because everything around us, everything around Timberland right now, they're putting money into it. They're putting money in their golf course. And since I've been there, not much change. Not much change. But
Since a lot of people have been there now, which is.
right. And if you take like Brandon that works there, these kids that grew up here and they're there, they'll tell you not much change, but they're there still playing golf. You know? And they grew up with that. You know? And we need a change. You gotta spend money to make money. That's all that's to it.
Well, it shouldn't be about the money,
No, it
that's the whole
shouldn't be.
point, right, the whole point is it
But-
shouldn't be about the money.
It's not, but you gotta do it. That's what, you need to do it. That's all it's to it. That's just my opinion.
Alright, well, let's start getting a bunch of photos and stuff so we can start creating that document, okay?
Fair enough.
Alright,
Sure.
Jim, you're there a lot.
Yeah, I am. I can take all.
Take pictures of the, you know, the women in wine,
Right.
the mixed on Friday, there's a mixed Friday night, I think,
Right.
take, you know, tomorrow.
Do you know what? We have some really good aerial stuff that you did. I have all the raw footage of your aerial stuff, where the place was packed. That was good. Are we going back to this bright view? Because I was gonna ask
Yeah,
you,
we can do that now?
I was gonna just ask you, is there any new information that we don't already know?
No. There's, well, I mean, we all know how the mayor feels and how, you know, yeah. They don't wanna entertain that. Because, of course, it's doing well.
I can't see why they would be swayed with the PGA thing if they can't even budge on the bright view. but
Totally
that's my-
different though, totally, this is totally different.
It is different.
Totally different. I mean, this eliminates, you know, PGA comes in, they don't spend a dime. They don't spend a dime. They make money.
But that's a big if, Peter. You're competing
of
against
course.
other courses, but I
No,
mean,
no,
we
of
have
course.
you have to go forward. We have to go forward with as if both are in play.
Well, they did do it up at Keeney and Goodwin, and they just turned it back over to the town. You know, I mean,
No,
I
they
didn't-
didn't, Jim, they were consulting.
there was consultant there,
That's all they did was
Right.
consult, they didn't
and they
own
put it back and got it running, and made it look nice. I mean, that's all Timberland just need a little pat on the back.
So, I mean, yeah, there's not, the town does not wanna entertain anything like that, I mean, we could recommend it every month, we could make an agenda item every month to the town council, and it will go exactly how it went the last time. Is that, I don't like subcontractors, I don't see why we need to, the course is doing good, it's making money, blah, 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 blah. So, I don't know, you know, how you guys wanna approach this, go ahead, Jim.
I just assume go in front of the town council and you know, just kind of lay it out and say, listen, this is the, you know, whatever the recommendation is, go forward. And you know, Mr. Mayor, you're one vote. and I know this is being recorded, Mark's gonna probably kill me for this, but in the same token, listen, you have to lay it out. And then, this is recorded and we're talking about taking the money and reinvesting it into the course. The course needs help. The course, everything's not okay. It's not. It needs work. They need more staff. He doesn't want to, the town doesn't want to do that. Let's just call it what it is, right? The building is dilapidated. A coat of paint, doesn't really do anything for you. It brightens up the outside, but the inside, the infrastructure is not there. The grounds, I mean, as well as I do, the fabric is coming up in the sand traps. The fairways are horrific as far as I'm concerned. The tee boxes, they need a lot of, I mean, even the car paths, they all need, I mean, there's a lot of money that's really needed in this thing. And so, the town, we just can't keep denying it. It is needed. And, so you go in front of the town and say, listen, you're going to save 150,000 plus a year. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, with all due respect, with all due respect, Mr. Mayor, you know what? I outsourced everything, whatever I could, whenever I could, and it comes down to the metrics that are in there, and the internal controls that are in there, and someone has to do that, has to watch that. To have a director of golf do that, no, you already have a facilities manager in the town. That should fall under his purview. That's all there is to it. I mean, and I would say that publicly.
You just did.
No, in front of the town council.
Right. And he's right, what he's saying is right, I mean, there's one way of looking at it.
But Brightview is not gonna do capital improvements, Brightview is gonna do maintenance,
That's correct.
there's a difference.
Yeah,
But
As
you
we
still,
know.
but
I mean,
there's
So
still,
you do know that Arosh is working on a plan, and he's even told you this, and he has gone in front of the town council and told them that, he wants to set it, he wants to give back to the golf course proceeds from the golf course back to the golf course. He's committed to doing that, so just keep that in the back of your minds as well.
Mhm.
To me, it's more important to get the ordinance changed
I agree.
before, the recommendation should be, in my opinion, whole hog going against this ordinance so that we don't have to worry about matching expenses to revenue. That should be number one, in my book.
Yeah, did you give that update under old business? That is the update.
Of what? Oh, the ordinance committee?
Yeah.
I did not, request Arosh said was gonna try to attend, and I was going to I was gonna bring that up here, but since
Got it.
he's not here, I will call and see if we can't get in front of the ordinance committee.
so basically, it's the mayor and it's the town that's sitting down and not pushing anything forward, right, what you're saying? I mean, because if you wanna talk about Brightview, or you wanna talk to PGA, whatever, somebody needs to step up to the plate and say, let's go to work, okay? Let's go to work, let's get something done. Nothing is getting done, nothing.
We don't have the power to do anything.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, but who does have the power?
but we can make the
mayor,
recommendation,
town
Gil.
manager? Who's got the power?
Well, we have, again, in our advisory capacity, and that's why I liked Peter's idea that he shared last time about, getting some photos together. We all just generated some great ideas, I think. We had some good thoughts about putting together a presentation, and I think that presentation could, be informative and educational to the town council, and then perhaps lay out some next steps on our ask of them.
Right, but if this commission been together how long now? 5 years?
5 years.
5 years.
Okay, so 5 years, and nothing's being done. You think about it, 5 years, so we need to step
Well,
up
I
and
think-
push it.
I don't
I
know
think-
about that.
well,
I
I
disagree,
push
I
it.
disagree.
I disagree also.
Okay, but
We had-
like I said, I just got on it, and I haven't seen anything change.
We had a major change in management, a significant
Okay.
change in management, and that was a big, significant change.
So Jonathan left, okay, okay? But when Jonathan left, so everything that's still on the board that Jonathan, is still there. It's still there, nothing changed.
You're right. No, it didn't.
Okay, it's still there, and nothing changed. And even if Jonathan is there, he's not there, it still did not change. That's why I look at it.
You know what, we don't make the
But
we don't make the changes, it is the council, but try to
Exactly.
remember one thing. if we go in front of the council and make our case, it's not Mark who is gonna, he doesn't have the deciding vote unless it's a split decision. If we get the majority of it, if we get 4 people who agree with us, then it goes through,
Right.
even if Mark doesn't.
Correct.
But what we haven't done is we haven't gotten in front of the council the right way and made our case, and that's what we need to do.
And be clear on our ask. What is our ask? We need
What
to
can
be
we-
very
and
specific.
how, yeah,
What is our goals and where,
Correct, and we've talked about it, but we haven't done it well
Right.
and presented it. I agree.
I
So
had a
we got some work, we got our work cut out for us.
Yes, Jenny?
You know, even changing the ordinance doesn't do anything as far as putting money back into the course or addressing, what needs to be done at the course. And that's all part of getting in front of the council. And it is, and it's just like it's been underfunded for years, and it really has. And it's either underfunded or, is it an amenity or is it not an amenity? Because if you read our bylaws, we should have had input, number one, into the union contracts, and that never happened. We should have inputs when it came to certain things with rates. And if you think about it, we really didn't, because Jerry just said this is the way it's going to. I got this at the last minute. There really has not been a lot of collaboration. Say what you want about Jonathan, at least he was more upfront and honest with everything. Everything was out. Everything was transparent. Right now, I don't see that happening. And I like Jerry. Don't get me wrong, but he's not as transparent as Jonathan was, whether you like it or not. I mean, that's my opinion.
Well, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think getting in front of the ordinance and also pursuing our education and engagement of the town council around our issues are not mutually exclusive. I think we have to pursue both.
Agreed.
Okay. All right, so let's get some photos and we'll start a presentation. We'll get that together, slides, all this other stuff. We'll collaborate amongst everyone. And I mean, I don't see how we can do this. I mean, we should pass it around, and we have to. So I mean, it can't all be done in meetings. So I got to figure out what I can share with y'all.
Yeah, I mean, maybe consult with Kate.
I'm gonna.
And maybe it's literally a working meeting where we all come here
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
right,
I
and
would
we
rather do that.
and we put together the presentation in a working meeting about,
Have to do it,
and
yeah.
we
Or
got
at least,
pictures.
or at least storyboard it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean
you're
by
right, correct,
storyboard?
yes, I do.
In other words, you create the presentation on paper and then you go back and then you
Yeah.
go and do it.
if we have the contents,
So we have.
I do have editing software that we can make those presentations.
Yeah, but just a PowerPoint, I would imagine.
Well, I'm more thinking like you would a commercial, where you actually edit, and it's not just pictures, it's moving pieces, it's
You can add that to
a
PowerPoint.
voiceover,
Yeah.
just.
We gotta get something done though,
Yes.
before the year runs out.
you're right.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Director's report, you saw Jerry's report. Do I have to read it out loud because he's not here?
No.
no, I read
Okay.
that.
All right, it's on the web for the record. T-sign account, CIP.
Hey, Peter,
Yes.
I got a question, and I'm not sure it's for the director or for Mark, but I'll ask the question now. In reference to carts out there, do we still have something in place today that if somebody wants to take out a cart individually, they have to pay extra? Because I'm seeing a lot of carts out there where we got 3 carts in one foursome. And my question would be to Jerry or to Mark, is that still in place where, for the pandemic, we were charging extra because fuel's not cheap anymore? And
I don't believe we're collecting, and I don't believe we're collecting or even asking anybody if they're taking a single cart anymore.
so bottom line, we should be only having in a foursome 2 carts, not 3 out there.
Well, I think there's a little bit of a misleading thing here is like, cause when I asked the starter and they say, well, no more than 2 carts per foursome. And so you could have 2 walkers and 2 carts, and to them, I think that's okay, that's acceptable. So maybe we just have to change on how we explain it to the starters on what to look for as you know, I mean, no single riders if there's room in the carts, you know what I mean? If there's 2 walkers and 2 carts, that's bad. If there's 2 walkers and 1 cart with 2 riders, that's good. If there's a threesome, 2 carts, you know, if there's three riders and 1 walker, 2 carts is inevitable, you need 2 carts for that. So, I mean, you know, a little bit of it is common sense as well, you know, you gotta, but I don't know how much you know, I really don't know how much they're paying attention to this, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know, you know, so. But, yeah, it's a good point, I mean, we should try, especially now with fuel prices and things of that nature, maybe we should be a little more aware of this, yes.
I think we should, because it's got a financial impact to the town.
That's true.
But are we going electric?
That's
No.
if the PGA, only if the PGA comes in.
There you go, okay.
There is Jerry is working on an RFP for golf carts. And he's trying to go from 75 to 85 carts, so, you know, generally, every year that I can remember, since Lindsay left and the town took over, we always got out of the cart lease a year early. We'd always lease for 5, we'd always turn them over after 4. But now I don't know, because there's there's shortages and it takes forever to get them and everything else, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But I know that, you know, he's starting the process now, because we still have another year left.
Peter?
Yes.
Part of that, there's two items I need to bring up. Part of that, what you're talking about, is the car companies would actually come to the course and say they'll eat the last year of the lease. That was part of the whole deal, in order to get the bump up in the revenue for them, because of the course, the prices went up. Right now, you hit the nail on the head, because there is a shortage of carts. There is, and so getting them is going to take some time. That's why that was one of the reasons they always ended the leases early. The other thing that I noticed, and someone brought this to my attention, that those kids that stole where they stole the carts and turned them over, and one of them got hurt or whatever, are back on the course, causing problems again. And how can it be that we are letting them even have carts, knowing what we know about what happened the last time? And I don't know, Mark, maybe that you want to kind of talk about that, and we as a commission maybe we should say, listen, those kids, well, I don't know what the ramifications for that were for that, but they flipped a cart. One kid got hurt. I'm thinking they're suing the town. Is that correct? Mark, do you know anything about that?
You are unmuted.
I'm not too sure about that. Jerry and I met with the Berlin police. They went to each of the kids' houses, talked to the parents. I don't think I have any power to tell somebody they can't have a cart. I think that's got to come from the commission. So if you want to suspend somebody, go right ahead. Jerry should probably provide you guys with the information, because there was an incident report and all that. So again, do I have the power? That'd be my question, to say don't take a cart, because they did come in, they got a driver's license, they rent a cart like anybody else. You tell me. Do I have that sort of power?
No, but I think what the town should do, the town should suspend them because of what they did. If it's 30 days, because they actually flipped the cart over.
I would say suspend their cart rights for the year.
Okay.
Personally, but this is news to I heard about that situation. It wasn't brought to the commission.
Right.
So,
But it just happened not too long ago.
But we heard about it through word of mouth. We didn't hear about it formally.
No, this happened just happened a
This
couple
just
weeks ago.
happened.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So this is a whole new case.
This wasn't, it happened, it happened before the last meeting.
No,
Yeah,
I think, no, it happened after the last meeting.
did it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, nothing was brought to our
No, we
attention
just-
about it
right, so-
officially,
We're just like Jim, we're just bringing it up now.
but, and it's news to me that they're even showing their faces at the golf course again.
Oh, they did come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
Peter, can you give us a little background on what happened?
No, I can't, that's all, I really can't,
No, you have to ask the head coach.
I don't wanna speak for, I wasn't involved, I wasn't there, so no, I can't.
Right, 'cause Jerry was there.
Mark could,
Right,
but again, Mark is speaking, he's not speaking on behalf of the town, and Mark is right, I don't know that he has the authority to do that, nor should he be put into that position to do that, that should come from the town, not Mark.
I agree.
But Mark, if you can speak as to exactly what happened, I'd appreciate it.
Just a quick question.
You are unmuted.
Doesn't
You want
Timberland have? Well, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Hold on, Mark, I muted you for a moment, go ahead, Joe.
So doesn't Timberland have policies that dictate if you intentionally cause damage to the facility, you could be, there's consequences to that?
Good question, Joe, the answer is absolutely, and the other answer is that nothing ever gets done about it, okay, we don't, for lack of a better word, we just don't have the scruples to do anything about it now, and it is what it is what it is, we just don't pursue these things to the point where they probably should be. This particular case, these were kids that were screwing around. In this particular case, they should not even be allowed back on the golf course, in my opinion, for quite some time, okay? But that's my opinion, and we as a commission don't have the authority to suspend or anything, we could suggest and we could advise, but we did come up with policies, we can't enforce them, that's up to the town to enforce. So, I'm gonna unmute you, Mark, so you can talk about that, if you don't mind, thanks.
You are unmuted.
Pete, do you just want me to give the situation? I mean, I filled out an incident report. I kind of feel like Jerry should be the one that reports it to you guys.
You are correct. You are correct in that yes, the town should be reporting this to the commission, not you. I'm just asking you to just enlighten everyone as to what happened. If that's okay. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's okay too, Mark, in all seriousness.
You are unmuted.
I'll just keep it very basic then. These kids rented a cart. We got reports that they were messing around on the golf course. So Brandon went out, made sure they were under control. Then he left. When they were done with the round, they drove the cart down to the bottom parking lot. And according to Timmy, Ramsey's kid, because he witnessed it, they shook the golf cart back and forth until it tipped over, and then they cheered. So at this point, I talked to Timmy. I got all the facts, wrote up an incident report, sent it to Jerry. Jerry and I met with the Berlin police. We had the names of the kids. We agreed that the officer, he offered to go to each one of their houses and speak with the parents, so we thought that was the next step. We agreed they should do that, and they did. But again, without any sort of suspension or anything like that, I don't feel like my staff and I can just say, no, you can't have a cart. So, they did come back a week later to go play. And really, there's nothing I felt like I could do about it. And that's...
Thank you, Mark.
Hey, Peter?
Hold on, Sebby. So,
Okay.
now, Jim, you say that they they came back and then up to their antics again. What makes you say that? Because this is very important. Jim Norton. Oh no, mute you, Jim. I'll unmute you.
I got it. I'm sorry.
Okay, I got you.
No, that's all. That something was mentioned to me that they were up to their antics again, and I don't know who the kid is, but I'm getting this. It could have been the same kid that they had a problem with in a previous year.
Okay.
You know, or a group of kids, and then and I don't know that they did, but somebody down on the second hole ran over all the flowers because I saw that on Monday. It's like somebody just purposely trounced all over those things. They were. Well, I don't know what they're rolling over with, but it had to be done a couple times because they were all flattened out.
Because
I don't know who did that. I mean, that could have been anybody.
Because when this first happened, I said to Jerry, Jerry, instead of you dealing with the parents calling them up, I said, go to the Berlin Police Department and have them take care of this situation because the parents are going to just say, "Oh my."
But that was done.
Yeah, but that was done. That's
So
what
that was done.
Right.
So I mean, should they have been suspended? Absolutely.
Right. So exactly.
But they weren't. So they came back and they paid for a cart. They played, but we don't know that they tried to do anything.
So the only thing we can do now is just go at them or tell their parents to suspend them from the course for a month or whatever.
Well, actually, I think what we could do is to make a recommendation that Jerry be in touch with Aroche and the recommendation from the commission is that these folks be suspended for whatever time frame, so that it could come from, and then Aroche would have to, I guess go through the channels. We have no power to suspend it, Mark doesn't, but if we feel strongly that they should be suspended, I think we should ask, Jerry, make a motion and ask Jerry to be in touch and maybe Peter, he could copy Peter to ensure that he reported to Aroche the situation and our recommendation the kids be suspended.
Now, if this isn't something if this is none of our business as a commission, we need to know that because we just wasted a half an hour.
Right.
Was there damage to the cart?
Yeah,
Because you know why? Because if we don't stop this, then they think they're entitled to do this all the time, and they can get away with it.
I don't disagree with you. The question is, are we the body that should we have been told about this? Because if it's something that is within our responsibility or our purview, then yeah, we should be told. We should have been told about it. There should have been an email probably sent out
to the family.
spelling out what happened, and then we could have acted on it immediately. Okay, but we didn't. So I mean, I heard it third hand, and I it was never formal to the commission.
But the thing, so like something like this happens, so we should be able to contact somebody right away and to get this started. Like Jerry's got it. So basically Jerry should do it right at us and say, what do you guys want to do? But like you said,
do we know what the protocol even is?
right, exactly.
We don't know.
No, well, we did say.
We have a policy.
We have a policy.
Right.
And so I guess my recommendation, and if you want me to make a motion, is that, that you on our behalf, send an email to Jerry and Aroche that this was discussed. We have concerns about these folks, their continued, use of carts, and we would recommend some kind of a, suspension for X amount of time.
And let them understand you gotta respect the golf course.
Was the cart damaged in any way? Do we know that?
Mark, you gotta ask Mark and Jerry that.
I don't know.
Was it damaged? You gotta ask Mark that, but he talked to Jerry.
Again, I
You are
don't.
unmuted.
That's Jerry would have that information.
Okay.
Because it says that it says here, within 2 business days, the director of golf notifies the town manager and the risk manager.
It doesn't say anything about us in that policy. So
Correct.
that's so.
It does
So
not.
it's
Is this any of our business
Right.
at all? you know, so we gotta find that out.
That's a good that's a good
That's
point.
Okay, so I will,
Yeah, if you find out
So,
that.
so Peter, I mean, it may or may not fall under the realm of the golf commission, but if we feel strongly about it, we could still make a recommendation.
Yeah, we can.
absolutely, absolutely, we do that, we do that to a lot of stuff, Joe, you know, so.
But you know, I mean, I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, like, you know, growing up in town, you damage something that is the property of the community of the town. You know, if you're caught, there's a consequence associated with it. And so you got a couple of kids on the town municipal golf course that have intentionally damaged, especially after having been warned. You know, I just think it's I don't know what the consequence should be, but I do think it's appropriate that we make a recommendation that
there's
there
no
is a
question.
consequence.
No question, we will do that.
That's good. And then our policy says the cart damage will be reported by the director of golf on the report. So if there was damage, it should have been
Right.
expected.
Okay,
Something had to happen to that cart, especially if it was on pavement and you're rocking it back and forth in the tips. Come on.
Or worse yet, Jim, something happens to that cart and let's say, you know, no one saw what happened. And so you got these kids damage a cart. A couple of guys show up an hour or two later, hop in a cart and
Good point.
right.
And something goes wrong, right? The wheel falls off and somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jerry actually, you know, this isn't his purview. So this is, you know, something's got to be done.
okay, I will discuss it with him.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Golf Pro report. So listen, while Mark is speaking, if you have a question, just raise your hand, please, because that echo is crazy. So, you know, let him speak and everybody mute while he's speaking, and then we should be okay. All right, Mark, I'm gonna unmute you, all right?
You are unmuted.
Yeah, once again, sorry, my computer normally works, but it said my internet was unstable, so I'm on the phone. Just roll through my report. The golf course is open all 31 days in May. I sent out a revenue comparison to last year. Looks like we're up a bit, which is good. We hosted our first 3 outings of the year, over 100 players, and all 3 were successful. We did rent carts for 2 of them because they were over the limit, but they still went well, and the weather cooperated. Everyone was happy. I met with Arosha, Jerry, and Peter, and the Connecticut PGA Executive Director Tom Hankey, as you all know. We spoke about that. Our summer junior programs have been finalized. We have 63 total kids in PGA Junior League. We have multiple programs for all ages and skill levels throughout the summer, so you'll see a lot of junior golf activity, which is great. The Berlin High School girls golf team did win the CIAC state championship. It's pretty crazy to see some of these players because I've been at Timberland 12 years now, and I knew a lot of them when they got started in the junior program, and now they're in high school. So it just means I'm getting old, but it's very rewarding to see. I truly believe the town supported the junior program up there for years, way before I was there, and it's just continued. That support obviously is great and, you know, creates golfers for a lifetime. There's no question about that. Obviously, there's been a lot of successful junior golfers that have come through the programs at Timberland and continue to. But I think there's also a lot of golfers that just play recreationally, and they're doing that. And I see a lot of 20-somethings that play up there now that did our junior program, and they're still playing. Some of them have joined the men's club. So it's good to see. I think that's why it's so important the town continues to support junior golf, because these golfers are playing at the course once they graduate college and get older. The golf shop is fully stocked. I'm gonna expire all credit October 31st. I'm really unsure if I'll even own the golf shop next year. I don't know what the town's plan is. So I definitely need to expire credit, or at least advertise it early enough so people can shop. I've got plenty of merchandise in the shop at the moment. I don't know what it's going to look like later in the summer. But again, I don't know the town's plans for the golf shop concession, so I just gotta basically make my plan to expire all credit. The aeration was successful. The greens have recovered nicely. I was out there last week, and they look like they're definitely healthy, which is good. The pace of play, just an update on that. I mean, we don't have many bad days anymore. Most of the rounds are under 4 hours and 15 minutes. I know leagues get a little congested, so the pace of play probably slows down. But leagues are very good for the golf course financially. There's been a couple complaints about access to the course because we have leagues on both sides, but it's one of these things where, you know, the leagues are there and it's guaranteed revenue. Do we want to give that up or not? You know, and I'm willing to do whatever is asked of me. I just think at this point it's been about generating revenue, so certainly filled the course with leagues in the afternoons. I met with Kevin Delaney in Club Profit, which is a point of sale system to see how their software would meet the requirements of the town. Golf Now Reservations is discontinued next year. They're either putting everybody on their G1 software, or you're gonna have to find a new point of sale system. I was pretty impressed with Club Profit. I think Kevin was as well. They do a lot of things that the town would like to see, and Rockledge and Stanley both use them, and I talked to both their pros. They're very pleased with everything. So I feel like this could be a good thing for the town. We run a program every year for St. Paul Middle School, and that was very successful. We had about 10 kids participate. And lastly, I'd like to do a full detail of our current golf carts, so I purchased a large amount of Armor All and cloths and tire foam. And this weekend, the plan is to detail all of the golf carts. I'm going to bring in my power washer from home and just do like a summer cleanup of these carts and just make sure that we're going into the summer with a nice clean fleet. Our lightning detection system is working properly, which is great compared to years past. And I think it's already mentioned that I believe Jerry's looking at expanding the fleet to 85 carts. I did speak with a couple of the pros, local club pros at my last couple tournaments that are getting new fleets. They did say that getting them is hard. So if he's working on it now, that's probably a good thing, because I believe that they're a year out getting new carts, most of these companies. Just moving forward, I feel like Timberland's been pretty busy of late, so I commend the staff for managing the fast-paced, busy environment. It can get a little crazy. It's like organized chaos with the tee sheet, but I feel like everyone's doing as good of a job as they can do. And then just looking forward, just going to continue to advertise our programming up at the course, the Mix 9 and Dine. I've got the Timberland Amateur Championship coming up. We're hosting the Connecticut Open qualifier, and then there's a few large events in July to prepare for large outings. So it's going to be a busy summer, and the weather's been decent. So I think our June revenue is in a good place at the moment. That is it.
Thank you. Oh, it froze. Peter, you
Yeah, it
froze.
did. Thank you, Mark.
Hey, Mark, I have
Yeah.
How much did you spend on Armor All and towels and that stuff? Get those receipts to Jerry. That's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to pay that out. That should be a town expense. You don't have to unmute yourself or anything. Just get the receipt to Jerry. That's ridiculous. And good job on that. That'll keep the kids busy as well. So and the carts will look great. Very that's a good move on your part. Thank you for that. But get the receipt to Jerry. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, Mark, quick question, and I don't know if I should be directing this to you or to Jerry. On the Cobb tournament a few weeks ago, did we end up having to rent, lease additional cards for that tournament?
Yes, and they paid for them. The tournament paid for those cards.
They did.
They paid for it out of their.
I just thought we had, that was under one of our policies, that we were only gonna allow X amount on.
Correct. That is, but they flipped the bill and they paid
Okay.
for that. Mark, I'm assuming that's correct, yeah?
You are unmuted.
Peter.
Yes.
Yeah, to answer Jim's question, we did rent carts. I believe, I have the invoice that they left in the bag. It looks like 7 were billed to Timberland and 7 were billed to T-Cop.
Okay.
So I think that's,
I'm wrong.
yeah,
I'm wrong.
that's what the invoice said at least. But, they had 172 players. They signed the contract and everything, but then they sent me the list and there was, to my surprise, 172 players. But Jerry said he had rented the carts and, we barely made it, but we made it.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Okay, sorry, I thought they paid for them. Well, yeah, you know what?
It is what it is.
Defer that question for next month
Okay.
while Jerry's here.
Okay.
That's all you can do.
I know.
So keep that in the back of your head and ask him next month,
Is it worth bringing up?
Well, yeah, it is, because we
Yeah,
do
of
that for
course it's worth-
everybody.
Yeah, it's worth bringing, if it's on your mind, it's worth bringing up.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Seth, you have your hand up.
Yeah, hey, Mark, has the town approached you at all about, renewing your contract at all? And if they have not, Peter, I think that's a discussion with Roche to say, in all fairness to Mark, we're almost halfway into the season and, he's got to know where he stands on this.
I brought that up. I have talked to LaRoche about it and I have talked to Jerry about it and he says, listen, it's, this isn't something that you're gonna wait until October, November to do. I said, the ball should have been started rolling, it was the beginning of the season, because this is a longer process. There may be some changes made and believe me, I am totally in the dark. I have absolutely zero information to give anybody. I'm echoing what Mark seems to think that the golf course is going to want to take the reins back. I don't know. Nobody knows anything. So yes, it is frustrating and I did mention it and I told him that, this process has to start because it's not fair to Mark, it's not fair to the commission, it's not fair to the golfers. So the process needs to happen.
Yeah, and I think you keep hammering Roche on that, Jerry, at some point they're gonna react, I would hope.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anything else from anyone?
Good. Motion to adjourn.
I have a question, are we?
He goes there. We were this close, Jim. Jim, we were this close.
You show up late and then you say, well, one more question.
Are we meeting in July and August?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But just on, like you're right, Peter, I agree with you, we need to get on that contract, or Mark's contract. because it's important for
Of course it's important for everybody, yes,
Everybody.
especially Mark, he's
Mark,
gotta
because he's
figure out,
gotta know where.
he's gotta know where he stands,
Exactly.
I don't disagree at all.
Now we can adjourn.
I second the motion. I second the motion.
All in
Peter,
favor?
real quick.
I got discussion.
Peter,
Yes, Mark, go ahead.
can you hear me?
Mark, go ahead. Yeah,
Can I make a suggestion that we have the next meeting at Timberland?
I was going to just bring that up, Mark.
Okay.
It's been brought to my attention that few people would like to meet at the golf course for our meetings. You know, the only thing that is iffy for me is the internet for this Zoom stuff. But it should be okay. I mean, I could test it, but I mean, I don't mind meeting at the golf course. You know, the kitchen can be a little loud. Thursday nights is a very, very, very busy league night there.
Can we have the back room?
We could have the, oh no, we would definitely have to have the back room. The kitchen will be noisy. That's the only thing, you know. Yeah, I mean, Mark could make the meeting. If we have it there,
That's fine.
you could show up in person.
That's fine.
So, you know, I don't see why the town wouldn't, meeting's a meeting.
We used to meet there.
Okay, so we'll set the next month's meeting to be there. All right,
Sounds good.
now, who made the motion to adjourn, Jim?
And I'll
Yep.
second it.
Actually, Gail seconded.
I'll
Second.
Okay, then.
All
thirded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, have a good one, everybody.
Have
Thank
a
you,
nice
everybody.
evening, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I thought this was gonna be a long meeting while the.
No.